And we're live. Hello. And
You know what that
welcome.
sounded like? You know what that sounded like? It sounded like, in Monty Python, the Holy Grail, when they have like the little animation that they have Sir Robin's minstrels or whatever, and they're like, "Yay!"
Yay.
That's what it sounded like.
Yay. Yeah, no. Welcome to episode 206 of the Crafty Boys, and where we're going to talk about review beer and stuff. And I'm Shane, and I've been sick for like 4 or 5 days, and it's really making me down. But I have Dave and Alan to cheer me up because reasons.
You do.
Thanks, Dave, for jumping in there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, how's it going there, boys? Because last we chatted was last Wednesday, and then the next day I went to Manitoba, and there was a storm with rain and wind and snow and stuff. So yeah.
Right.
And I got
But then you
back,
managed to get out of that hellhole and get back to BC.
That is true. I was there for.
Is it wrong? Is it?
Oh,
I think Alan just died. Is it real? So.
Oh, there he is. All right,
you died at. Is it raw?
Yes. Okay. So what I was trying to say. So my internet, the feed's being a bit choppy here suddenly. But is it wrong for me to call Winnipeg a hellhole?
It depends on who you ask. I think the people that I know, they're my relatives, who were very gracious and let us stay in their place for a few days.
Right.
I think they're of mixed opinion. They love it some days, and then some days they don't.
Okay.
So I mean, it's like any place. Whether they'd call it a hellhole, that's a very good question. I'll have to ask.
Maybe just a heck hole.
A heck hole. Where do you live? Yeah. I live in a heck hole. Just a heck hole. It's not a full on,
hell hole or anything. It's just a heck hole.
It's a heck hole. It's typical heck hole stuff. So anyway,
we took a beer.
Who picked the beer?
I think it was me.
Yeah. Why didn't you introduce said beer?
All right. So okay. So you guys pick up the slack here. If I suddenly go. Okay. But we are drinking. This is one that I wanted to try last year, and we missed the boat on it. So we're going to try it this year. It's from Vancouver Island Brewing. It's their Nanaimo Bar Porter. The Nanaimo Bar Porter comes in 4 packs of tall cans, or you can get it. There's 3 regular size cans inside of their Outpost mix pack can thing, which has 4 different kinds of beers in it. So that's the one I got. Shane and Dave got the 4-pack of tall cans. So the Nanaimo Bar Porter is exactly that. It's a porter that also has chocolate, custard, and coconut supposedly in it. Ooh. So let's dive into this.
I gotta say, I am. What is this? What does this smell like to you? Does this smell weird? It's a very, of course, being a porter, it's an incredibly dark beer, very chocolatey. There's no in color.
It pours like motor oil.
It does. It's very thick. Got some TW. I don't even know. See, I don't even know what oil means. What is oil?
It's like a 5W30.
The vanilla.
I can smell the sweetness.
Wow. Okay. I am interested. I am pleased. And I'm armed. No, I'm kidding. I'm trying to determine what exactly.
Okay,
what flavor is actually going on here.
Okay, so while you guys collect your thoughts, right? While you guys collect your thoughts, let me read what's on the can here.
Let's hear it.
Once voted Canada's favorite confection. There are few things more island than the Nanaimo Bar. Decadent and sweet, featuring flavors of graham cracker, chocolate, coconut, and vanilla. This dessert porter is our homage to the world famous treat from Edith Adams' 1953 prize cookbook.
I'm just gonna say I'm not getting any of that. I'm not getting any Nanaimo.
Here's what I'm getting. Okay, first of all, I really like this. I think it's a really good flavored porter. It's got a nice amount of sweetness to it, but it's not overpowering. As far as the flavors go, I'm detecting chocolate and nothing else.
I am getting chocolate. I am getting a porter sort of flavor.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything else.
No.
I was expecting, the creamy layer.
Like the custard.
Yeah, I was expecting a little more custard sweetness, but I'm not getting any of that.
No.
I have a feeling Alan's okay with this.
You know what? I like it. I'm enjoying it. It doesn't taste like a Nanaimo Bar, though.
No, I was hoping it would be like
shouldn't surprise.
Well, we've had some vanilla beers or some beers that had vanilla in it that have had some, successful execution of it, but this one doesn't seem to be at all. Like
Can you put chocolate and vanilla into something at the same time? Isn't that like having cats and dogs together at the same time? Aren't they like diametrically opposed or something?
Well, to be honest, yeah. I don't know. I was expecting. Let me say it. I was expecting more sweetness, and that was kind of it. That's sort of where I was going with that. So, because here's the other problem. You hyped it up last year, and ever since then, it's been in the back of our minds of a beer to do.
Yeah.
And now that we actually have it, I was expecting to be eating a liquid Nanaimo Bar. That's kind of the hype that I had.
That's kind of what I was expecting too.
Like you look at the imagery on the can. You've got it says very clearly Nanaimo Bar, but I guess the porter method of beer making, which is like any other beer making, but it is a darker malt usually, and you have things in it, but. Maybe it's just the vanilla sort of. I don't know. Is there actually a recipe? Not a recipe. I'm curious what they have in
there.
here.
There is a list of ingredients.
So it does say vanilla extract in it. So maybe that just needs to be pumped up a little bit.
And there is supposedly coconut in it. You know what? For something like this, and maybe this is unrealistic. And Shane, you have a little bit more beer brewing experience than I do, but. What I thought they would do is make a porter, and then when they move it to their secondary, like take like a whole bunch of Nanaimo bars from the grocery store and throw them in, right? Like crush them up, throw it in, stir it up, and let it ferment, like the secondary fermentation in the Nanaimo bars. Like, couldn't they just do that?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you wouldn't want to do that in the primary because I think it would be too volatile and all the sugars from the Nanaimo bar, the whole thing would explode. But if you did in the secondary, I think that would probably be okay.
It is entirely possible. I mean, I'm assuming that they might have. Well, Maybe they were. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe they were trying to avoid sweetness. Maybe that's kind of what they were. Maybe. They were going trying to get away from falling into that. But you never know. They might. I don't know. I just really want that little sweet thing, just because in my mind, the Nanaimo Bar is that chocolatey goodness with that sort of custard punch, but
maybe it's too expensive to actually make Nanaimo bars and then throw them into the wort. It's probably just easier just to throw in chocolate and vanilla and coconut and everything separately, right? But you don't get the actual flavor of the Nanaimo bar from that.
Okay, I could go. I could see that entirely. What about you, Dave? What is your sort of? Are you kind of in that same realm? You're really wanting that sweet punch, but you're not getting it.
Yes,
okay.
Most definitely. But I'm okay with stuff that's a little sweeter, right?
Okay.
Again, I don't consider I consider a real beer drinker. Doesn't really like the sweet because I guess traditionally that's not really what beers are, right?
The only real beer drinker is somebody who drinks beer. Doesn't matter what kind. If you drink beer, you're a beer drinker.
Okay, so question for you, Alan.
Okay.
Does that include Radlers?
I guess so. But if you're an enjoyer of Radlers, you need to put on a pink tutu before you start drinking them.
I think there's several 100,000, perhaps even several million Europeans that would take issue with that statement, but whatever.
All
right. Canadians find themselves. Declaration of war comes from Amsterdam.
Forced to wear pink tutus.
Radler sucked. Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, what else can you do? Well,
could you argue beers or Radlers are not beers? I don't know.
I think juice with fizz. But anyway, moving right along to what beer I had.
Are we rating this beer or what?
I'm still at my jury's still out. But what is your jury saying?
No. You were going to say something.
Well, because I was going to compare it to what I had to endure this weekend, where I was visiting relatives, and the beer that was there and available was kokanee, and so I had quite a bit of that over the weekend. Now, of course, when I'm hanging out with my dad, I tend to drift more towards the lager variety of beer, mainly because
what he has.
That's what my dad likes. He's a lager guy, and he said some disparaging things about IPAs over the weekend that I let slide. But essentially, yeah. I mean, what else can you do? But yeah, so I had quite a few lagers this weekend, and I was, kind of looking forward to this one to wash the lagerness out of my palate. This beer has failed to do that.
Oh dear!
It actually is, quite honestly, it's leaving quite the aftertaste in my mouth. What about you guys? You feeling the same or?
No, I'm not finding an aftertaste. At least not an unpleasant one.
There definitely is one. I mean, that it's just my palate, however, speaking. But there's something going on there that we can safely say is coating the back of my throat. Of course, it could be the fact that I have a cold, but that's okay.
Could be. Could be.
So I think this beer on our beer mug 1 to 10. I'm gonna give it a 5 because it's not a terrible beer, but it's really let me down because I know what a Nanaimo bar tastes like. I have a level of expectation when there's Nanaimo bars available, they need to taste a certain way.
Yeah.
This beer doesn't even come close to that. And I think really just probably if it had a bit more vanilla in it, that probably would give me enough to go, yeah, this beer's an 8. But no, sorry, this beer's getting a 5 from me. You only get 5 beer mugs. I'm really sorry. Sorry, not sorry. #.
Shall we call it the Steiner rating?
The Steiner rating. Well done. Well, what's your sort of your verdict there, Dave?
Um, I am really fighting to try and score this thing on its own merits. Because,
Yeah.
like you, Shane, I was, the expectations were higher for the Nanaimo barness
Right.
of this. And no, it doesn't do that. It really doesn't.
Mhm.
Mind you, we shouldn't be shocked because, hey, how many beers have we had that actually lived up, right? Not very many. Not very many. And you know what? I think part of that's just the nature of beer.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually going to say, Alan, if you remember, we have an IPA bar that's been set. What is our porter bar that's been set? I can think of a few, but I can't think of, because if we ever have IPAs, we're always going back to the well of what Driftwood is doing.
Right.
But what is our comparable porter? I don't know,
Well,
Dave, can you think of it? Or
for like a chocolate flavored porter, I would have to go with the Longboat from Phillips,
okay,
which we did, I think, in like episode 3 or something.
I
Episode
believe I
3.
missed the boat on that one.
You may have. I don't know. The one that pops into my mind
don't
was
think I
Mill
had that one.
Street's Vanilla Porter, and but it's been such a
Okay.
long time since we've had that one as well. I mean, that one was mid 50s.
That is a very good one. I tend to discount that one just because Mill Street is owned by a large.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But as far as sort of like privately owned kind of stuff, the Longboat. There is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They tend to all kind of taste the same, It's like once you've tasted one porter, you've tasted them all, kind of thing, So it's difficult to set
there
one
was-
aside.
Yeah. Well, the sapsucker, was that one sweet? Do we remember?
No, in fact, that one left us really disappointed.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what other porters that we've actually really had, but I cannot name
we've had so many porters.
one that really blew us away. But
Yeah.
Is Crooked or Tooth a porter? Can't remember.
No, I would say no.
It's barrel aged. That's all I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with probably the closest is that vanilla, but you did mention the
Longboat.
the spreadsheet. The Longboat.
The Longboat for me is a go-to. If I'm going to have a porter and if I don't see anything that's new on the shelf, that's what I'm getting. Having said that, for the past couple of years, I've been choosing to go for IPAs over porters. So,
yeah, I mean, even the what was it called? The it was a porter, but it wasn't a chocolate. What the hell was it? The coconut. It was a coconut porter from Swans, I think. Here's the thing: we're just gonna have to drink them all at the same time and do an actual comparison because that level of sweetness is really hard to nail down in a beer because it's sometimes it's successful and most of the time it's not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh God, I wish I really wish we had them all on the line right now to kind of do a direct comparison. But
right.
Hey, it's the holidays are coming up, so because I guess really what I'm trying to go for is the drunk tank, not drunk tank. The IPA fat tug, drunk tank, fat tug. I guess that goes together. It really is kind of is that bar that's been set, and the winter beers that I think has been set for me as well is that old fashioned we had last year in the Advent, but also the peanut butter one, the funky uncle. What's it called again? The
Nutty Uncle.
the Nutty Uncle.
Nutty Uncle.
That one to me it's like drinking peanut butter. I mean, they've really gotten that balance down where it's got that beer, and then what are we trying to simulate?
Okay, is that
really
a porter
nicely.
or is it a stout? I don't remember.
I
actually
think that
thought
one.
it's
I
a
think that one
dunkel.
is.
Wasn't it a dunkel?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think you're right. No, it's a stout. According to their website, it's a stout.
Oh,
So, but
It's
there you
stout.
go.
because the beer
But
I'm
you know,
thinking
there
of
isn't
is
a lot
called
of
Nutty
difference.
Uncle Dunkel. So maybe I'm thinking of a different
Oh,
beer.
there is there is an Uncle Dunkel beer from Moon Underwater.
But that's
think
Creepy Uncle, isn't it?
Yeah, this creepy Uncle Dunkel.
There's actually a
Right.
beer called Creepy Uncle.
Yes.
Wow,
Creepy Uncle Dunkel.
the Creepy Uncle Dunkel. Well, we'll have to try that because I would like to do that because, um, from the comments, by the way, we have somebody saying that yes, a multiple tasting show would be good. That's from Sean, by the way, based around a variety. And yeah, I mean that's the thing is that these ones are so hard to do. I think that getting these flavors in is such a difficult process for without making it like a radler where we've had radlers where they're so incredibly fruity that we've said this before that it tastes like drinking juice, and that's true. Where this one I expected to be drinking in a Nanaimo bar, I guess, is really
Yeah.
ultimately my sort of my complaint is, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's hard to do,
So-
and I think that if we actually had like several in a row, which would be a very interesting show, we'd actually be able to sort of really be able to tell sort of where that who's successful at getting these, who's successful at injecting the thing they're trying to emulate into the beer, and like we said, the Nutty Uncle, the and some of these, you know, like the Longwood, did it really successfully, but I just can't pin down what it was. Aside from, I mean, the Nutty Uncle, I just picture them brewing a beer and then just filling it with peanut butter and then just pouring it into, you know, bottles. So, but I'm sure that's not what they're doing. But you know, it's kind of that's my goal, man. That is my wish and my, you know, my
Right.
desire to achieve that, to have Vancouver Island, the Nanaimo Bar Porter, achieve that goal, to be able to actually have a liquid, an entirely liquid beer that is like drinking
Right.
that thing. So yeah.
So okay, so Dave,
Hmm.
getting back to it, what is going to be your rating on this?
I'm gonna have to go with 6.
6?
Wow, you
Okay.
gave it a higher rating than I did. I'm surprised. I was waiting for like a 3. 4. Of course, I've turned off my light to actually emulate what Dave looks like. So I want to have a 2. I think it's going to be a 2 on this one. But anyway.
I think I'm going to, you know, okay, so I kind of want to give 2 ratings on this. I want to give a rating for the beer itself, not thinking about the Nanaimo Bar part of it, just on
Okay.
its own.
That's fair. That's fair. That's totally fair.
I'd probably give it like a 7.5, maybe even an
Ooh.
8. But considering I know what a Nanaimo bar tastes like, and this doesn't taste like a Nanaimo bar, I'm probably going to give it like, say, a 5.
Okay.
But just on its own, as a beer, it's on its own, and don't, if you were to remove the whole Nanaimo bar part off of the label, it's a 7 to 8, something around there.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, definitely, we can't forget that it is a porter in itself. So, yes, I would agree with what you just said about it being a decent porter. But yeah, I was just hoping for a little more sweetness. One thing
So
should be
while
aware-
you guys are talking, I'm just going through all of our past episodes here, and I'm looking for porters that we've done to see if anything kind of jumps out at me. So you guys continue talking while I'm looking here.
Well, according to our fancy spreadsheet, we've done 13 porters.
Okay.
wow.
Actually, I got to make sure that I actually add this in. So this will be number, pardon me, number 14. So we do. It's. I would say we're pretty much experts in the porter. I mean, the last porter that we did was the that weird one, the Pandan coconut porter,
Right.
which was. I
It
still
was
don't.
actually
I
pretty
still
pretty
don't
good.
remember what a Pandan was, but it was it was good. It was by Dagarad, and I remember we enjoyed that one quite a bit. Before that, we did one called Brew the Change, which was Persephone. And then we did a mocha porter from Granville Island Brewing right before that. So I don't remember what
I seem to remember that we really enjoyed that one.
did we? Okay, because I don't. Here's the thing: I don't remember ever hating a beer outright, except for that. The one right before we really started to convince ourselves that drinking out of glasses was better than the bottle.
Yeah,
That
the
was that-
cucumber one.
the cucumber whale, killer whale thing, which was like trying to drink your own blood after filtering it through acid or something. But it was so bad. And then we had it. Did we have it? How long afterwards did we actually try it again?
I think what we did is because it came in six packs, right? So we each bought a 6-pack and we drank one before we did the show, right? We were like, "Oh my god, this is disgusting." So we said we're going to do it on the show because we already bought the 6-pack, and because we like to display the beer in a glass on the show, we actually poured it into a glass and realized at that point that it actually wasn't as disgusting as it was
as we thought it would be.
out of the bottle, drinking it straight from the bottle. Yeah.
Do you remember? Were you there for that, Dave? I can't remember if you actually experienced that one.
I was. Yeah.
Did you have the same response?
I don't remember hating it the way you guys did. I mean, it's not going to go down in the list of favorites. I don't think, but I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't,
I mean, it's the only beer that I recall being like, why am I drinking this? I'm going to pour this on the floor because it'll do better as a lacquer on the concrete than it is for beer. I mean, I remember being really grumpy with that one, but but I have to be fair. Of all the things that we're reviewing and all the things we've had over the years.
But how does that beer make it past quality control? I mean, seriously. I mean, it was disgusting.
Did you guys mix babies into
this? We brewed this beer.
Yeah, no,
ship it.
Yeah, ship it. I mean, what was the brewery in Strange Brew? Elsinore.
Elsinore, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that kind of beer. I mean, come on, that's exactly what they were making that particular week. And everyone suddenly wanted to play hockey and beat each other to death with hockey sticks, which is a very Canadian custom. Wow, drinking beer and being ill is not the best combination, but I'm willing to get through it. So overall, we give this a meh and a good porter, not so good on the other side. So yeah, there you go. That's the verdict from the Crafty Boys, I think. Big news actually in Crafty Boys land. Dave has news. Tell us, Dave, what's happening over the next few weeks in your life?
Well, I'm going to be buying some more
Dave.
beer.
Thanks for jumping in with that news of the century. Dave,
I am moving to Victoria.
Yes, Dave is going to be in the same city as Alan. We are not going to be as spread out as we used to be. So you better have some pretty good damn internet, man. Otherwise,
I was just going to say, I'm hoping that it's going to be way better than this because holy shit.
Well, what you could do, Dave, when you first get here, if you need to, come over here and do it with me.
That just might be a thing.
Yeah. I've done it a few times.
Yep.
You sit down, you drink beer, you hang out. What more could you want?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
So on that note, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting, because we've had a bunch of comments this week about the beer. And we've had some suggestions as to what we should do if we run into this problem again. If we have a problem with a type of beer, a style of beer, and we want to compare it with beers we've had before, we're just going to have to drink them all on the same show. So there you go. Look for that sometime close to the holidays, because it's almost Halloween, and next week, the beer I hope I can find is very Halloween-esque, and hopefully you will enjoy it as much as we hope we will. Sorry, I looked over to Alan, and Alan's face was still. So make sure you tell people about the show. Make sure you if you want to come and participate, by all means. We're here every usually Wednesday. Today it is Thursday, but that's because I've been ill. But that's okay. Usually on Wednesday nights, you can come and hang out and chat at us and give your opinions on what kind of beers you think we should drink and what beers you think we haven't given a fair shake to, because we're pretty damn harsh on the beers because we have high expectations. Alan? I thought you had something to say. Bye, everybody!